The following is an exclusive presentation of Jesup Broadcasting, the sports leader in Southeast Georgia.
World famous. The world famous Butch and Bob Show.
And good morning to you. You're listening to the Big Dog, WIFO FM in Jesup. 105.5 on your FM dial, Big Dog Country Radio. Butch Hubbard here with you along with Bob Morgan on this Friday morning. It is the 16th day of August. It's now time for the world-famous Butch and Bob Show, brought to you by Murphy Builder Supply, located on Northeast Broad Street in downtown Jesup, by Sachero's Restaurant, located in the Piggly Wiggly Shopping Center on West Cherry Street, and also brought to you by Nips Car Wash, located on Highway 301 South, just past McDonald's on the left-hand side. And Bob, you ready to hit the road again?
I'm ready to go.
Now, you hit the road again yesterday, didn't you?
I went to Jacksonville last night.
Watched the Jacks play. Anything new down there in the stadium that you saw for this year? Or did you not just pay attention to it? You was too busy at the buffet in the press box?
I was too busy at the buffet, visiting with friends, talking to Dan.
It's always about the food, Bob.
Good time. Food was pretty good.
Yeah, so you got to see some of your old press buddies up there?
That's it. And saw Fred Taylor, Tony Vaselli.
Oh, did you?
Had a good time. It was always fun to go down. Like I said, it's been a while since the football season ended last year. So a lot of excitement in Jacksonville with Nick Foles, but
what's Fred doing down there?
he's working TV.
TV? Okay.
Yeah, he's doing all their stuff. You're in the stadium, you can see him on the big screen. He does the pregame show, halftime show. So
no, those are big screens down there.
They brought Leon Searcy. Remember Leon Searcy, the big offensive lineman? They got him back working for the Jaguars. So they got all these former players back. So
yeah, Tony was there.
The big story, of course, it's the 25th year, so they had the 25. All-time Jaguars listed. Right. And, of course, they got Tony Vaselli listed 1 and Fred Taylor's listed 2, and Fred Taylor was very upset that he was number 2.
Wow.
So apparently they talked to him last night. Him and Tony had a little powwow, and they said they talked about it, but Fred still feels like he got slighted.
Oh. Well, Tony was part of the original Jaguars, and I think that gave the sentimental value there.
First-round draft pick.
Yeah.
He skipped for the Hall of Fame. But
yeah.
But I was just shocked that Fred was that outspoken.
I mean, was he just kidding around? What do you think he's serious? He's serious, huh?
He's serious as a heart attack. That's what I'm saying. And apparently he upset Tony Vaselli because Tony Vaselli thinks everybody was in the press box want to know why Mark Brunell is number 4, not number 3. So anyway,
who's 3?
Jimmy Smith.
Jimmy Smith is. So, okay.
And Maurice Jones-Drew is 4, and Mark Brunell is 5. So, but anyway.
Oh well.
That was a big discussion last night. But
big ego.
Apparently, yeah. You think with all the money they got, they won't worry about it.
It's egos. I mean, top athletes, we all know they've got egos. I mean, that's one of the reasons why where they are is they're so competitive, and they've got big egos. I mean, the same thing if you played them in chess or Monopoly or something like that. They're going to do their best to beat you no matter what the game may be.
Yeah, they're both good guys, both in the Jaguar family, so both in the Ring of Honor. So it was just interesting that Fred was that upset about it. But
oh well,
it was just opinion.
And who wrote that? Was that sports writers or
they asked sports writers who cover the team that years.
Did they ask you?
Yeah, I had a chance. I voted Vaselli 1.
Okay.
I love Tony Vaselli.
And the reason why is we're your radio affiliate for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we've been the very first affiliate they had, and the only affiliate that's been around with them for 25 years. And Bob goes to most of the games, so everybody there knows Bob, and that's the reason why he's part of the Jacksonville Jaguars inner circle.
You think you may have voted Vaselli because Fred Taylor was a Gator?
Could have had something
to do with it, Bob.
All right.
He used to always get mad at me when I wore my Georgia stuff at the press box when I interviewed him. So, but I still like Fred's a good guy. I mean, he's fun.
Yeah.
We have a good time. We got a special guest in the studios. It's unbelievable. It's election year here for the city. Just City of Odom did confirm yesterday that the city of Odom will be looking for a new mayor. Brian Nippers decided to not run for re-election. I'm not sure about the council members, but we did check with all the council members here in Jesup, and all 6 are seeking re-election. Not sure if anybody's running against it, but the qualifying gets underway Monday, runs Monday through Friday next week at the probate office. We got the Jesup mayor in the studio with us, David O'Keefe, who is seeking re-election.
Bob, can I interrupt for a second?
I've been lobbying for the mayor to get Underraised, yeah. Go ahead.
Can I interrupt because the mayor brought this up, okay, about Fred Taylor being a Gator. Somebody texted him. I don't know if it's one of the Jones boys or who it may be. It says he's one of the winning Florida Gators.
There's no doubt.
Yeah, he let us know that every time, too.
All right, go ahead and talk to our Jesup mayor.
We got the mayor here seeking re-election, and again, apparently all your council members seeking re-election. But this year, something different for the city election. They're running staggered terms. Is that correct? So
yeah,
everybody keeps
it
asking
is.
which one's going to be staggered, which one's going to be,
Yeah, it is, Bob. It is a different election year this year for us, and yes, I have determined that talk with my family and all to seek re-election again for another 4 years. There's just so many good things that are going on in the city right now that you hate to get off the boat when it's going in a good direction. When you got a council group that we have, the support and all that they give, to all of them have the same idea. They want to make Jesup better than when they found it, and they do a lot of work and very active in the community. All the commissioners and we all know that from the council and the mayor's position that we couldn't do any of this without the staff, the people that work here in the city of Jesup. And we'll all, and everyone will tell you we've got the best staff that can be arranged, from the police department to the fire department to the water department to the streets department and to City Hall. I mean, we've just got a great group of people, and they make it easy for us. They make it really easy for us. But yeah, getting back to the idea, we decided, the council looked at it and decided that we needed to have a split council as far as re-election time, so we don't something. And it's not just with our council, because I believe our council could stay together for the next 20 years if we wanted to, because we got a good group. But somewhere down the road, it may be a problem that if you had an election that everyone could be voted out in 1 year, and there's a big learning curve when you're dealing with government and government funds and all. So with the split council and all that we're going to have this year, we got 3 council members that are running for a 2-year term, and then the other 3 council members are running for a 4-year term, where the mayor's term will always be for a 4-year term. So that gives us, you see that done in several different areas and all, and we just feel like that's a better fit for our community to keep some continued going to it and consistency and people knowing what's going on with the city government.
As you mentioned, there's a lot going on. Good News City, the big project, of course, is Cracker Williams Park. Every day you go by there, you see more and more activity taking place. More and more is going to be added to it. Understand the inside of that building is almost completely done. You can see the improvements outside. They put the restrooms out there. They're going to be a walking trail. Eventually, the pool's coming back. So a lot of work. How much money was put in the budget this year for the Cracker?
Yeah, last year we budgeted a total of $500,000 for the park. At present, we've only used right at $150,000, so we got $350,000 more of the budget for this year to do in the park. The thing was built back in 1934. Cracker Williams is when it became in existence there, and the building, the recreation hall, or we call the place to have events and all, the event hall was constructed back in 1961. So it hasn't had any kind of really updated on it since 61. So when we took it back over from the county, the city commissioners and all, we sat down and said, you know what, we want to make this the nicest city park that we can make for everybody in the community to be able to use. So we've still got $350 to use on it, and you're right. We've worked on the playground equipment. Now we're out there working on the parking lot to make parking lot for the facility. The building built for picnic tables underneath it to have a restroom. So when the parents are out there with the kids, we've got a restroom that they can use at any time. And of course, the next project once we finish those is to move on to the swimming pool. Right now, we're standing to get a $100,000 grant from the state, from Department of Natural Resources, to help us with the swimming pool. So we still, as I said before, we still got about $350,000 we allocated this year to finish up work on the Cracker Williams Park, from the landscaping, Bob, to the swimming pool, to the walking track. We're still looking at creating a walking track around through the park, so the mom or dad or whomever, while their kids are playing on the playground equipment, can get their exercise in too. But it's had a lot of good comments from what we're doing at the park, and and we know it's hot out there, but of course it's been hot in South Georgia for 3 or 4 weeks and also. But when it gets cooler weather, the fall and the spring, you're going to see a lot of activity, and there's still a lot of activity out there right now.
It's amazing how many kids are using that playground equipment. Like I said, every day you go by, you can just see how many people are showing up. So it's a great, just a nice facility. Glad to see it being, just coming back to life, and just a lot of work being done. Another grant, you mentioned grants, which are important. DOT at a $100,000 grant, they're going to refurbish the trestle down there by Sybil's, which is a big eyesore. How soon do you think that project will get underway?
Well, we're starting on it now. Mr. Schumann has reached out to the company that gave us the first bid for that and to look at it again to see that, it'll be a little congestion on in there, trying to get it, the traffic flowing all through there. But hopefully we'll start that in the next 30 to 60 days on that. And that's, if got some work to do on it, trying to get it painted and get it sandblasted, and the things that you got to do to that. And it is just, when you're going out of town, you just see a bunch of green and rust, and when you're coming into town, you see green and rust on the overpass. So, if we can get it just painted at least right off the first, get it painted black more than anything to dress up. That's what we're looking to do on that.
So it's going to be just basically a facelift, sandblasted and painted, right?
That's correct. Okay. That's correct.
Do you remember when that was built, where people could actually go under it instead of this track right across the highway there?
Really do not.
I don't either. And I've been thinking back, I used to, when I was in high school, I was out there in Anderson subdivision, had to drive it, and I don't remember if it was there then or when it was put in.
That's a great question.
I do not remember when it was put under there.
That's a great question, and we've had some problems before under there with the drainage when we had a bunch of rain one time. Of course, we fixed all that, but it just keeps the traffic flowing there on one of the main thoroughfares through Wayne County and Jesup.
That's a good thing.
If you just join us, just a minute, David Earl Keith in the studio. I know you get questioned all the time, about construction and what's going on. The Arby's just coming right down the road. They cleared that land. That's what's coming there, right?
That's correct.
There's some work being done behind David's. Do you have any idea what they're doing?
No, I hadn't heard what they're looking at doing in that little facility there, in that small building there. Have not. It might be just someone that's fixing up, trying to get it dressed up to be able to have a tenant in there. It's a small building. And of course, when we were all growing up, it was I think it was called the Zippy Mart back then. That was a convenience store for everybody right there in the middle of town. But I'm not sure. I hadn't heard anything on what's going on.
You're talking about behind David's or across the street from First Street?
Damon.
Oh, Damon's. I thought you said that. Yeah, Damon's. Yeah, it was it's been several things through the years, but nobody's been in there a long time.
But you see around and look around in the community. There's been a lot of growth in the community. The shopping or the restaurant area right there with Dunkin' Donuts and Little Caesars and Jersey Mike's, that's dressed that up. Look, and people say, man, do we need another restaurant? Do we need another restaurant? Well, when you go by these places and look and you see they're full of people, that's what people are doing now. The days of all of us sitting at home at 6 o'clock at night and having supper with our parents there's so many activities these kids are doing today, from the balls to the baton to the soccer to all kind of activities at the rec department. There's just not enough time. So, those things are coming around, and if it wasn't people going to restaurants, then why would Western Sizzling expand? Why would the Sonic remodel? Why would Wendy's remodel? They all know that the business is growing, so that's what they're doing. The Hog and Bones, they don't just put a restaurant there because a guy likes one in the community. They did a lot of study, and they see that the community's growing, and that's what people. So we see a lot of that growth into the city, and which is good for us in the city, and it makes it a lot easier for us. So
people are busy. They're eating
out. A lot of stuff. Because we depend on that. We got a pretty big budget. And the ad valorem tax and all is those kind of things. But we try to do things that are helping the city. This year we're going to look at installing automated water meters. That's like a $1.2 million project. So the water meters out in front of your house will all be automated. So that'll help us. Of course, manpower, being able to read the meters and all. But one of the advantages of that is if you have a house that happens to have a slab leak or a busted water line, it will show up an alert on our system to go over there and check and see what it's at, instead of if that person's out of town and it running all weekend long and not knowing it, and then they have a huge water bill and didn't realize it. So those kind of things that help us to determine where we've got some water leaks and all. That's a big savings and all for the community. a big thing we did this past year with the police department. We put computers in each one of the policemen's cars and all now. So it's all computerized. When they have an accident or when they have a speed ticket or something, they can all do that right there on the computer. But I think that the one thing that got all of our attention as commissioners and the mayor when the chief of police brought this up to us is if they pull someone over and they have an outstanding warrant or they're being sought after by someone else, when they type in that person's name, every policeman that's on duty and the police station, their screens will automatically turn red, alert, alert. And then when that does that, then the people, all the policemen in that area or in the city go to that area. So before he gets out and confronts his guys again, there may be 3 or 4 more police cars there. So to try to keep it from escalating. So that's for the safety of our guys. Our guys, we see it all the time, and it's a shame of some of the things that are going on in the country. And I got a lot of good friends. All those guys are good guys over there on our police department force, and we don't want anything to happen to any of them. But we also want to make sure that the community is protected and watched after, and they are. Great job they've done this week. Of the incident we had and made an arrest on that as you reported earlier, which is great, and they worked really well. So that's another good thing that we see from our work with the commissioners over the years.
Well, the good thing is the city's got money. You go to the county meeting, they said they're broke. The city's got money. So I know, I tell people all the time, when Mike deals with the county, they had money. Now it's with the city, they got money. I don't know if that's the variable, but the city is in pretty good financial shape.
Yeah, we did. The ad valorem this year increased about 8% in the city. The real estate tax increased about 7%. So, but having that money all goes back to one thing, and that's the leadership. And the leadership of the council members and the mayor, and also the leadership from our city manager and our city clerks and the folks that watch it. This year, you were at one of the meetings and we stated every department in the city of Jesup last year came under budget. Every department. So it doesn't just happen because they want to be on the budget. It's because of the work between each department head and the city manager on making sure that we're doing what we need to do and doing the services for the community and for the people of Jesup, but also doing it the best way we can do it. And Mr. Deal has done a great job. There's some hard decisions he's had to make when some of the guys have come and want to do some kind of project, and he said, let's look at another way to do it. And that's what they do. So, when you got that kind of leadership in the community, it makes the job for us, the commissioners, and as a mayor, when you got the guys that really, they're doing it for a reason. They love the city of Jesup, and each department head, each employee, and the city manager and all the girls that work up at the city hall, they got one thing only, and that's to make Jesup better.
One headache for the city has been the railroad, dealing with the road. I know you've been dealing with CSX a lot. You've got an agreement. They still haven't moved all that stuff from the road, but you want to do that. But talk about that. I mean, the funny story I heard this year was you told it when you introduced Buddy Carter at one of his meetings that, you went out there by your office and the railroad people were messing up the road and all that. You said, is anybody going to fix that? I said, no, we're not going to fix that. And you said, well, somebody's going to fix it. They said, well, we can't help you. And you went and made one phone call to Buddy Carter, and Buddy Carter, next day there was about 10, 12 people out there saying, are you the one to call Buddy Carter? So we tell people all the time, it's not what you know, it's who you know. But, I mean, dealing with the railroad's just been a headache for years. I mean, it's amazing how they kind of just have a mind of their own and do what they want to do.
It is, Bob. It is. And I've talked with Congressman Carter, and I've talked with Governor Kemp and Senator Tillery and Representative Meeks, and also Werkheiser, dealing with CSX is, and it's not just in Wayne County. This is the way CSX does all over. And I understand they got a business to run. I understand that, but, just reach out to the community that you work in to make sure that, there may have been something that the city would have been willing to put money into to make it better, but they don't give us the opportunity. It was, when I first got into office, we finally got them convinced to let us pay that little dirt area that everybody was parking in. So that took place. And so then I started on the next project, we started trying to clean up all the area down Broad Street, all the debris there. And, I'm going on 6 years now, so it took us almost 4.5, 5 years to get them at the table. We got them at the table, sat down and talked with all the department heads and all, and Had a great connection down at CSX with Mr. Aubrey Brown that got us together with these folks and sat down and talked about that debris and all and this materials that they use, trying to find. We worked with IDA, Dale Keith, trying to find property to move this to. I mean, just several alternatives. And then they finally come up with a solution that they're going to move all of that stuff down to Nahunta, Georgia. They got an area down there that's a huge area that they've got a shop down there already anyway, which they said this would work fine for them. And they had to get approval from their bosses, which they did. And so, the agreement was drawn up in January, and they gave us that they would turn it over to us on June the 1st. Well, June the 1st rolled around, and I said, okay, maybe they're fixing to start next week. And I saw them move a trash bin in there. I said, okay, they fixing to start doing it. Well, that was when they started fixing the railroad crossings. So I went and talked to those guys, and those guys said, man, this project is the biggest project that CSX has got down the East Coast, so they got to complete it. So I called to find out where I stood at, and didn't get a response from anybody, and sent another email, and finally got a response. And the lady that's working with me from the real estate division down at CSX in Jacksonville says she'd like to meet again, that they've got a problem, that they're going to have to extend it before they start moving it. So sat down and talked with Mr. Connor about the contract we've got with them and what they signed. And, there's some things that were signed back in the early 90s that says either party can pull out within a 30-day notice. So don't want to make them mad. We've waited almost 40 years for it to get cleared up. So if I have to wait 6 more months, I'm going to, or the city's going to. But we want to get it cleared out and extend that parking lot and make a grass area there and to give more people some downtown parking, yeah. So it is tough with CSX, but they're working with us.
Well, a lot going on. Like I said, the qualifying begins Monday. You plan to run for election. Haven't heard anybody opposing anybody on the council or the mayor. I mean, normally you hear people saying they're going to run, but I haven't heard anybody. We'll wait and see how it plays out next week. Again, qualifying ends a week from today at 12 noon, so it should be interesting. But you got the qualifying fee? You need
yeah. I'm working on that qualifying fee. I've had some folks say that they were going to have a fundraiser, and they invited 300 people, and each person was supposed to bring a penny. So that'd give me the $3 to qualify. But and the reason you probably don't see anybody running against anyone is because the council members and myself, the team that we're put together here, is working really well in the city and doing the things that are right, doing what's right, as Mayor Weaver would say, just do right. And so they are, they know what it takes to run a city, and a lot of these are experienced and they've learned, and all they want to do too, Bob, it's not a personal agenda. It's what they want to just make sure that the city of Jesup looks better than when they got it.
I'm sorry, Bob.
Just final question: are you the most underpaid mayor in America? Even the mayor of Scriven make more than Mayor of Jesup. How's that work?
Yeah, I looked at some of them. They had in about Pooler and some of those guys and what they make, and they're council members too. Now the council members are the same. They don't make but $100 a year either. But I saw somebody, I thought, wow. But there again, that just goes to show you take those 6 folks that are on the commission and myself, we're not doing it for the money. It's doing it for a better community.
And the election is when?
The election is the first Tuesday in November.
This November?
Yeah.
Okay.
First Tuesday in November.
And if you want to register to vote, the last day to register to vote in the upcoming elections is October the 7th. So
That's correct.
If you're not registered to vote, you can register up until October 7th and be eligible to vote in the November 5th election.
That's right. That's correct.
Tell people all the time, there's a lot of people out there, they talk a good game, but they're not even registered to vote. So
Yeah.
they don't matter.
Yeah.
You're registered to vote to have an impact.
Yeah, and that's what you do. That gives you the opportunity. People ask me all the time, when somebody calls you, do you pull out that sheet and see who voted? Whether you're going to help them or not. I said, no, it's just maybe some reason they couldn't vote. But then again, you look at some of your friends and all, and they tell you they voted, but you actually look and like, well, he didn't really vote.
Yeah, vote if
but that's all right. That's but we have a good turnout, and people in the community of Wayne County and the city of Jesup do support governments, and they do support our elected officials very well, and the elected officials know that, all the way from the governor's office all the way down. So, yeah.
One thing about watching you through the last 6 years as being mayor is the fact that you enjoy the position. the responsibilities, the job. You like being mayor, and you can see that when you're talking at events and you're talking about the city of Jesup and you're talking about the Jesup employees in the county and so forth. It's something that you're passionate about, and it's good to see someone in the position who really likes doing this type of public service.
Thank you. It is, and I really do enjoy it. I really do enjoy it. There's everything. All of it gets aggravating at times, but it is fun. It is good to know. I tell you what's more enjoyable than anything, and I'm sure the commissioner would tell you, is when they have some folks that lived here years ago that left and living in another community and come back for a class reunion or, a reunion or some family reunion, and they see the stuff in the community and all, and they tell you, man, y'all doing a good job. That's what you really like. That's what you really, really like, is when somebody comes back, because the people here in the community, they see it every day. They don't notice it because it's a gradual growth. But if you've gone for a while and come back, I get a lot of comments from folks. The face crack gets a lot of people, a lot of information out there. And I have a lot of friends that comment, and they'll see stuff going on, and they'll send a little note about, wow, Jesup looks great. And so I'm really proud of that.
All right, folks, face crack is slang for Facebook. Just in case people wonder, what did they say? What did they say about crack?
Always good to see you.
Thanks, Bob and Butch. I appreciate y'all and appreciate the work that y'all do, and thank y'all for supporting Jesup.
Okay, all right. Jesup Mayor David Earl Keith running for re-election. Our special guest here on the world-famous Butch and Bob Show. WIFO FM in Jesup, 105.5 FM dial. And it says, somebody just texted in, Mayor, thank you very much for the city, for the computers, for the police officers. It's made their jobs much easier and efficient.
The world famous Butch and Bob Show.